Since mankind could first tell stories, we have told terrifying tales of things that go bump in the night. Whether you believe it or not, these stories are interesting as they are frightening. Christmas is not immune to such terrifying tales of ghosts and spirits. Whether you know of the Austrian Christmas demon, Krampus, read A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, or heard the terrifying tale of the entity of Bull Street that haunts the second floor of a shop in Liverpool, England, you must admit these stories have one thing in common. They involve some kind of paranormal encounter. This story is no different, as I have heard it from a friend of mine who went to Belgium. But first, I would like to give a shout out this year to my friend and cousin Thad T.J. Kreischer. If you are watching this, please leave a comment and like, or else Krampus will come for you. I would also like to give a shout out to my friends Nathan and Roland, who are part of my travel trio. Thank you for subscribing to my videos. It is said that the Cathedral of Antwerp has two resident ghosts that appear on Christmas Eve, a young boy and a dog, and the accounts date back to the late 1800s. There have been sightings over the years, including two in the World Wars, which scared the wits out of the experiencing German soldiers. The haunting actually caught the attention of the Montreal Society of Parapsychologists and their leader, the famous medium Denise Lautrec, one of the first groups in Canada dedicated to research back in 1997. They were joined by American paranormal investigator Barry Taff, Dr. Barry Taff, that is, who investigated the 1974 Doris Byther haunting, also known as the Entity Haunting, as inspired a cult classic film that came out in 1982 with the same name, and the San Pedro Poltergeist. Taft flew from Los Angeles to Montreal, where he met up with the Paranormal Society, and after traveling from Montreal to Brussels, they took a train to Antwerp on Christmas Eve to begin their investigation. After the sun had set, the team got to work on investigating the cathedral. Dr. Taff and the investigators set up cameras all around the church near the paintings where apparitions had been seen. Taff and his crew had personal cameras to capture phenomena. They also brought in machines that could detect the changes in temperature, electromagnetic anomalies. Taff got a spirit box to listen for phantom voices. After splitting into pairs, they walked through the darkened cathedral, working all through the night. Two crew members thought they saw a shadow behind them, but there was nothing there. One of them had a battery die with no explanation. The camera captured what appeared to be the figure of a boy near the triptych by Rubens. This is significant as the spirit may have manifested, and somebody saw a blur running near the center of the cathedral, and we don't know if this was the dog's ghost. Towards the end of the night, Denise held a seance using a homemade Ouija board. Taff and the others gathered to film the scene with the spirit box to listen to voices. The seance revealed the ghost was a boy named Nello, and his dog was named Petrash, and they had died on Christmas Eve 125 years before. Nello was a poor orphan who lived with his grandfather in Antwerp's Hoboken neighborhood until his grandfather died of old age. Nello and Petrash went to the cathedral on Christmas Eve 1872, and it was there they died from starvation and hypothermia. Taft kept the recording and took notes. He listened for the questions and answers. On Christmas Day, they left Belgium and returned to the Americas. Dr. Taff and Denise would later return to their homes in LA and Montreal. The documentary was aired on television in Canada from Halifax to Vancouver as part of a CBC documentary called Haunted Europe. The documentary was narrated and hosted by the late Canadian actor Christopher Plummer. Since the investigations, there were numerous other people who came forward with stories of the frightening visit. One night on Christmas Eve 2015, a Korean man and his wife were walking near the cathedral when they saw a green ball of light floating in the doorway. They followed the light away to what was once a cemetery in the Hoboken neighborhood. The light stopped in front of a tree, and they marked the spot where it vanished. Next day, the authorities dug up the dug up the spot and found the coffin, the remains of a boy and a dog. The remains were moved to another cemetery outside the city limits and reburied. To this day, no one has seen, heard, or felt anything, but I can't help wonder if maybe the ghosts still do appear on Christmas Eve at the cathedral. Maybe we will never know. The ghost appeared once outside the cathedral on Christmas Eve 1918 to a dying nun, who later passed away early the next morning.